Good evening to you all. This is Emmanuel Kadri, and you are welcome to another session with Break Into Tech. Break Into Tech, the session dealing with Python programming and web development. So it's a two-in-one course, and then you're welcome to our third class on this premium program. Okay, all right. So today, still on Python programming, we are going to be retouching some things that we did before, and then we'll also do a little bit more of a few other things too. All right. So if you visit online-python.com, this is what you are going to see on your screen for the first time. Like I said, if you, by default, although it comes in white by default, but if you want it to appear in dark mode, you click on the moon button, and then it comes in dark mode like that. So that's how to change it. So this code that you have on the screen always comes with the site, but you just highlight everything and wipe it out so that you can be able to put in your own code. All right. So last time we discussed about the print statements and how it is being used. We also discussed about the use of comments. We discussed the use of comments. We also discussed the use of we discussed about data types and all that. We talked about the strings, the string data type, the integer data type. We talked about the floats data type and all that. So who can remind me what a float data type is? Anybody from the class? Float data type. When you say something is float data type, so what does it mean? Can anybody answer me, please? Yes, please.
Hello,
Yeah, you're welcome.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, please.
Yeah, I think float is a type of number with decimal.
Very good.
That
Yes,
is
yes.
a float.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, the float data type are numbers that have decimal, that is, numbers that have fractional parts. So if I say 2.000 like this, 3.00 like this one is float. Okay, it's different from just writing 3. Okay, mathematically 3.0 and 3 are not different, but in terms of programming, 3.0 is float, while 3 on its own is an integer because it does not have that decimal, that point. Do you understand? So that's it. Any number that has points is float. So I talked about 4 data types last time. So I spoke about integer data type. Integer data types are like stuff like numbers, whole numbers. Okay, maybe 1, 20, 3,000. Any whole number is an integer. Do you understand? In as much as it does not have any fractional parts. Okay, so the other data type that we talked about
Character.
is floats. Okay, so and then the float data type, all those ones that have decimal parts like 1.2, something like 3.0, something like 40 points, like this. Anything in as much as it has decimal, we call them floats. All right. So the third one is string. Okay, and then the string data type, anything, even though anything like a character, like letter A is string. Okay, in fact, if you write Baba is string. If you say Emmanuel is a man, it's also string.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we have A, we have Baba, anything that is the character. Okay, in fact, even space just an empty space is also a string. Okay, so in as much as it is not a number, okay, it is neither if it is not just a number, if it's not a number, it's regarded as a string. Okay, as far as Python is concerned. Then the last one is the boolean data type. Okay, the boolean data type has values which can either be true. It has only two values, which is true or false.
or false.
So those are the two data types that we have. Those are the four data types that we have in Python programming. Like I told you in the last class, if you're dealing with stuff like Java, Java has more data types than this. Okay, because it seems to be a bit more advanced. Okay, this Python and JavaScript, they are called scripting languages. Okay, but Java, C Sharp, C++, all those ones are the actual programming languages, and they can be used to design some standalone app without any other support. But but um, but these ones can be all right. Chef Farms, you are raising your hands. Family, see any question?
Okay, so sorry, can that, yes, I have a question.
All right.
Can that string data type also be called character data type?
All right. You can call it character yourself, but Python only identifies it as one thing, which is string. Okay. You can call it character yourself, but Python only identifies it as string.
Okay.
Yeah. In Java, we have character data type. We have string separately. We have character
Okay, thank
separately.
you.
Yeah. For Java, we have string separately, character separately. Both of them are different. Okay. But in Python, Python takes everything all together as strings. So
Okay, thank you, sir. Understood.
okay. Um, okay. So this is just revision of data types. So, about the topic that we are going to be dealing with today, we're going to touch a whole lot of areas. We'll revisit the print statement, and then I'm going to show you some other ways you can use the print statement, using placeholders, using f-string, and all that, all of those methods of how to use print statements. I'm going to touch that too. I'm going to touch a little bit of everything in the set of videos that I sent to you. So I'll just explain it briefly so that by the time you're watching those videos, it's going to make a whole lot of sense to you. So on Saturday, by the grace of God, we are going to be spending about 3 to 4 hours coding, doing hardcore coding, because I want to go deeper. And I want to put into practice all of these things that I taught you. So maybe we can even design a simple app on Saturday, a very small, simple app like that. Okay, a console-based app. So if provided that you guys are able to cover a lot. When I say cover a lot, tomorrow we are not going to have class. So I expect you that the whole of tomorrow, after today's class, from today on till tomorrow until early hours of Saturday, you guys should work with those stuff that I sent last week. I mean those videos, those past recorded videos, the recorded videos of the past classes that we had before this cohort. Okay, so it's going to help you. It's going to teach you a whole lot of things. But I want to use today's class like as a preamble, so you can understand. You can quite understand everything going on when you start watching those videos. So that's what I'm just using today's class to do. I'm not going to be spending a whole lot of time. Okay, so but we are going to do a lot within the short time. All right. So my agenda today is to explain number one, typecasting. To explain typecasting. Number two, to extend the print statement. That's my second agenda. My third, sorry, my third agenda is to teach you how to receive and use input values from the user, to teach you how to receive and use input values from, to accept values from the user into your program. All right, so I'm going to teach you all of these things tonight by God's grace. So let me stop at these three. Let's see if we can achieve these three first. Then we move on to, if we are able to achieve it and there's still enough time, then we'll move on to something else. Okay, but for now, let's stick to these three and see how far we can go. All right, so before I proceed, I want to comment out this side so that when I'm running my code, all of these parts will not show. So I want to put this into comments. So who can tell me what to do? I want to, from line 1 to line 10, I want to comment it out. Yes, Family Lucy. Family Lucy, Jimmy and, well, please, okay, one of you should just talk. All right, Jimmy, let me hear from you, Jimmy.
Okay, you
You
can
use the
use
hashtag.
Use the hashtag. Right, okay,
you can
now,
use since we are using multiple. Okay,
yes.
since we are using multiple, like we want to use comment on more than one line. I think we'll use that 3 dots. We use
Okay, good.
3 points
We use the
from the
three.
beginning and the end.
Good,
Yes.
perfect. We use the asterisk, right? Now, as
Yes.
okay, good. As according to Blessing said we should use hashtag. Now, this is the problem using the hashtag. We will use the hashtag like this, okay? It only works for one line at a time. So it means that you have to just take your time to put it on each of the lines all through, and that could be quite stressful. All right. So now, according to Jimmy, okay, it says we should use the 3 dots, the 3 asterisks, which is also okay. Okay, which means I'm going to put like these 3 asterisks like bam bam bam. he mentioned dots. All right, so I said it's asterisk. Okay, and then you have it this way. Sorry, both the two of us we are confusing ourselves. It's not even asterisk. Sorry, it is the single quotes, not even dots, not dot, not asterisk. Sorry, single quotes. So you have the single quotes 1, 2, 3. Okay, you put it at the beginning, then just to mark the ending, you also put it at the end, 1, 2, 3, and everything will be fine. Okay, so that is how to comment it out. So by commenting it out now, no part of this code will be run during the program. During the program run, it will not affect nothing. Python has ignored it, so it will only continue the program from after the closing one. Well, if you don't want to do this thing one by one, another way you can also achieve it is by highlighting. Okay, you can highlight everything from here to here. Just highlight everything. Okay, and after highlighting, you can just press this thing 1, 2, 3. You see that automatically Python will put it at the beginning and at the end by itself, and everything will be fine. So that's another method of doing it. Just highlight all the area you want to block out, and then put the 3 single quotes. That is, you press the single quote 3 times, and everything will turn to comment. So everything will be blocked out. Then you can continue with your program. So that is another way of achieving that. Okay. So let's pick typecasting. What really is if you are still raising your hands and you don't have any question, please drop it so that I won't be confused. I won't think you have something to say. All right, good. So typecasting. Well, typecasting simply means you are trying to change data, okay, you are trying to change anything from one data type to another. That is the meaning of typecasting, okay, which means, okay, something was a string, something was maybe an integer, and I want to convert it to a string, then I will do what we call typecasting, okay. Typecasting is necessary at some points in your coding, but you may not really understand for now, but you will understand later. Okay, you will soon get it when you get to the stage when you like, okay, why do I need to change something from one data type to another data type? Okay, it's important. But in fact, from tonight, you are going to learn one of the reasons why it happens like that. You are going to learn it tonight. One of the reasons why it happens like that, why you have to change a data from one type to another. Okay, but the process itself is called typecasting. All right. So now let's just do a little bit of example to change data from one type to another. Okay, you make use of you use arguments. Okay, like the way we do the print statement, we put the thing we want to work on, we put it inside brackets, and then it works. Okay. All right. So let's take for instance, I want to change. Okay, to change number, maybe to change this number 39. Okay, and which is a, oh, okay, which is an integer, which is the whole number. Okay, all right, to change 39, which is an integer, to a string. That is, I want to make it to start behaving like a string. All right, so what do I do? This 39 was an integer, but I wanted to start acting like a string. All right, so all I just need to do is to type str. Okay, all right, to type str, which is a keyword. Okay, and then I will open this thing and put 39 there. And by the time I put 39, from now on, okay, it begins to act like a string, which means whatever it is that you can do with a string, you can also do with this one. It no longer, it ceases to be acting as as an ordinary number. It now begins to act like a string, because you have cast it to string. You said string 39. String 39 is telling Python that, please, I know that this 39 is an integer, but make it a string. That is what it's telling Python. So for you to know that it is acting like a string, see, just say string 39 plus ima. All right. Okay, you know, for those of you who have been attending the class, you know that anytime we indicate a string, we must always put a quote around it, either a single quote or a double quote, but there must be a quote so that Python will not confuse it for something else. All right, so Python, the moment there is a quote around it, Python already knows it is a string. So string ima plus string 39 plus ima, which originally is a string. All right, so if you want to print it, let's say we want to print it, you want to display it, you say print everything all together. Okay, so what is this plus doing here? Who can tell me the function of this plus? Who can remind me? What am I trying to do with this plus? Anybody?
The plus is to concatenate it, to bring them together.
Yes, very good. We call it string concatenation, which means bringing together or joining together two strings to become one. And that is exactly what's going to happen by the time I run this program, by the time I run the code. Okay, you see that it has joined 39 and ima together. So which means that is 39 ima. All right. So I want you guys to, what if I want somebody among you, because it's possible you are not on your system, or it's possible you are not coding right now. So I want somebody among you to tell me, how will I achieve something like Bet Niger? You know the spelling of Bet Niger, right? So if I say, let me have an example like this. If I say A is equal to bets, sorry, A is equal to bets, and say B is equal to 9, and C is equal to, sorry, A is equal to bets, B is equal to 9, and C is equal to jar. Okay? Remember that anytime you want to type a string, you must always put a quote around it. I'm reminding you so till you get used to it. All right. So if A is equal to bet, B is 9, and C is jar. Okay. So I want to form Bet Niger. What do I do? Can anybody try? Just if you want to try it, so just be telling me, just tell me what to do and I'll be typing it for you. So, all right, Mr. Mololu.
Yes, sir. If you want to print it, I think it will be print
All right,
open bracket
okay,
okay, bet Niger. That
yeah,
will be a single column bet inside a single column.
all right. So mind you, I have already created variables. A is a variable, B is a variable, C is a
Okay,
variable.
okay. So
So I
okay, let
have
me use it that way.
stored bets inside A, I
Okay,
have stored 9 inside
okay,
B, and stored, okay, jar inside C.
okay,
All right,
okay. Let me use it that way. Okay, still continue print A.
A,
That be A bet Niger. That be A.
mhm,
Uh, o- that okay. I think you will put in the column on it,
column,
single
no,
column.
no,
Oh,
try
okay.
again. Okay, what I just want to do is
O-
that I want to concatenate them.
Okay, you want to concatenate them. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
But
That
there
means
is an
A
issue, there is something you have to do.
A plus
Okay, yes, I'm with
bet
you.
A plus. Then there will be I think there will be there will be a comma.
A comma,
Yeah.
no, try,
Okay,
try.
sir, let me
No,
come.
no, no, blessing, no, 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 no. Let him finish. I'll call you. Just raise your hand.
Niger. Okay, okay. Bet nine. Yeah, okay, plus. Then the nine will be in okay. The nine will be in okay. The double column outside. Okay. The nine will be in
Yeah.
single column.
Okay.
In
Nine
single
will be
column.
in single column. No,
Yes,
we
sir.
are not even using any column here. We are only using quotes. Okay, like single
Quote.
quotes, right?
Yeah, single quote. That's what I
Okay.
mean.
All right. Good.
Single quote.
Okay. Now coding
So
is
bet
much more like mathematics. Okay, it's like technical. There are
bet
sometimes you just have to like go extra mile. Like you have to think outside the box. Now, let me tell you what I'm trying to make you do. Still,
Alternatively, we can use B.
we can use B. Okay. All right.
Can use B.
Okay. There's only going to be a little
Niger.
problem. Okay, which means you would have said we should do A, B, and C, right? So we
Yes.
concatenate all the three.
Yes.
Okay. But you know that from the last class, the rule of concatenation says you can only concatenate strings. You cannot concatenate an integer to a string. So there's going to be a little problem here because 9 is an
Yeah.
integer. So how do we now do it? That 9 will no longer behave like an integer but start acting as a string so that there won't be issues.
That means it will be in a double column or something. Double column.
All right, all right.
Let somebody else try.
Thank you very much. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the fact that you came forward. Okay, so you are learning. You are here because you are learning, not because you already know it. So it's very much allowed. Mistake is allowed. Blunder is allowed. Very, very well. It's an open ground. So, but I just know that in the next 1 month or so, you would have been thinking like a pro. So all of these things is just still the foundation. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, sweetheart,
Okay,
yeah,
so my own trying here is that you know that the A is bet, B is nine,
okay.
C is jar.
I have called
So
you
let's
sweetheart. Don't
put it this
fumble.
way. And
If you fumble, I will change it for you now. Now, oh, yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
so the thing there is that
Yeah.
can you erase this one out so that it won't convince me?
Okay. All right. Done.
Okay, so we start with print.
Okay. You should have asked me to keep it. keep.
Yes,
Okay then.
print, then the column. Open the
Open
bracket.
bracket. Okay. All right.
Yes, then you put the column one.
Column or quotes.
Sorry, the quote. The
Single
quote.
quotes. Okay. All right.
Yes, single quote. Then you type bet.
Okay. I type bets. No. I want you to make use of the
Yes.
variables that I have. Wow, this is getting interesting. I want you guys to make use of the variables. So, okay, I've created a variable A, and I said variable A is equal to bets, which means from now Python begins to see A as bets. All right. I created a variable B, and I say
Okay, so
B
let's
is
do
equal
this
to
way.
9.
We do okay, put your A
Okay.
in the bracket.
All right. My A is there.
What is your quote your column?
Quotes. You mean quotes? I want you to use A, B, and C.
The
I
quote I
want
mean.
I want A, B, and C to be present in the argument, in the print arguments. I want A, B, and C to be present in the
Okay, we
print
do
arguments. Yeah.
quote. The quote first.
I'm not quoting
You close
anything.
the A, close the A with the two quotes, plus B with the two
Yeah,
quotes, then C with the two quotes.
it's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Blessing. All right. Nice try. All right. Before I proceed again, who else can try? Shefam, you can drop your hands if you're not asking any question. Okay, Jimmy want to try. Jimmy and two other people
Okay.
self are raising their hands. Okay. All right, Jimmy,
Can
come
I
on.
can I speak?
The
Okay.
assignment I want you
After
to the assignment I want you to
yes.
achieve. I want you to make use of A, B, and C. So let me just put it here like, okay, use the variables A, B, and C to produce the string. What's the string? Bet Niger. So I want you to use the variable to produce a string. Bet Niger. That's the second task. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. So after A you use plus.
okay, you said after A I use plus, right? Okay,
Yes,
good.
use plus, yeah.
Okay.
Then string.
Okay, string, right?
String. Then you open the bracket, yeah.
Okay.
Open the bracket,
Yeah.
put B,
I
then
should put
close
B.
the bracket,
Good. Okay.
then plus
Okay.
plus C.
Perfect. It will give you
Plus
what?
C, then close it. Then
Yeah.
run it, yeah.
Okay, so then I run it. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. All right, everybody clap for Jimmy. So that's how it goes, okay? Now, do you know what? I didn't want to tell you what to do. So I deliberately threw it to the class, and I think that is the best thing, okay? So when you begin to finger your brain to get things out of it, your learning becomes very, very active, your brain becomes active. It's not as if Mr. Emmanuel be talking for 2 hours, for 3 hours, and all of you are just saying okay, 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 and in your mind you think you have understood until when you are given a task. But it's good that you start getting it now. That's, oh, there are some parts you don't get. So I'm going to be making it like that practical. I'll call you on board. You just finger your brain and bring something out of it. It doesn't matter whether you make mistake or not. I can laugh, I can make fun, but don't worry, it's just part of it. Okay, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it will help you learn better. All right. So kudos to Blessing, and then kudos to um, who else again tried and fumbled? Oh, Mr. Omololu, yeah, good. So, but then, Blessing, you still remain a sweetheart, okay? Why I gave you the award is because you love to learn a lot, and you've been contacting me in private to ask a few questions and show me your work. So, and I love that. I really, really love that. So, I want more of that. Okay? All right.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome there. Now, what is going on here is that B is equal to 9. All right. So these bets that you have here, it already came as a string. So it doesn't need any conversion. This jar already came as a string. It doesn't need any conversion. The only guy that needs to be changed here is this 9. Okay. This thing here made me to remember one day like that I went to a hotel to visit a friend who just wedded, and then he's just having a small get together for some guys. The guy is very rich, and I was his private teacher, and then he invited me over, so I went them to meet them at the hotel, Ibis Hotel in Ikeja. I saw big guys, as in when you say big guy, very wealthy people, so wealthy. All right, they just they came around and I sat among them. We're all mingling, okay, and then they were asking everybody, "What do you want? What do you want?" This one say Anakin, this one say this expensive beer. All of them were like making orders for beers or strong wine, okay, and then it now got to me. They said, "What do I want?" I said, I want either malt or juice, and everybody on that table just look at me like, what's wrong with this hotel? Like, what is chalet? So, and then do you know that because I was just the odd one, I was like, it was as if I was polluting their table. I was messing up their table. It's like an embarrassment, in that clique. Everybody is running some odd stuff, and me, I'm putting 5 alive and more. It's very crazy. You know what they just did in 5 minutes time? That my student just said, "Oh, he's my student, but he's older than me." He just said, Mr. Emma, what's up? How is everything now? Man, sure you know go house like this. So and he gave me like 25,000 naira to take taxi. In fact, he called taxi by himself and then gave me 25,000 naira, that whatever amount he charges, I should just pay him from the money. And that was how he used Ty to take me out, because I was the odd one out. So that's the same thing. If I wanted to join that clique, okay, like if I wanted to mingle with them and roll with them, the only way is for me to change from a born again pastor teacher to to a born again beer drinker. So you understand what I'm trying to say. So which means that I would have actually joined them, changed my 5 alive to Tiri Tiri, or to Enekin, or to whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. So exactly that is what is happening to this guy, Bet Niger. 9 is an integer. Bet and Ja, the two of them, they are strings, so they don't need any conversion. For this 9 to be able to roll with them, to move with them, to mingle with them, because the rule says that only string can be concatenated with another string. You cannot concatenate a string with something else. So it's going to be a problem if we do not convert this 9 to string. So what we do is that we'll inside the bracket, we'll just like, okay, fine, A is okay, A is bet, C is Ja, okay, then 9, B is the only issue because it is 9. So we just convert it to what? From, you can see this one now. We converted 39 directly to string. But this one is a variable B. which is bearing 9. So instead of us to put 9 inside the instead of us to put 9 inside the bracket, we just put b inside the bracket. It will still work because we have set b is equal to 9, which means Python begins to see b as 9. You understand? So that's how it works. All right. So we concatenate b. We cast b from an integer to a string so that it can belong. It can belong. So they will not drive him away the way they drove me away stylishly that night. So, all right, and that is what produced this, because now all of them are like, they are now string, and then it produced the result bet Niger that we have here. All right, so that is it. That is called typecasting and string concatenation. All right, so let me, I'm going to give you other examples from, I'm going to give you some assignment that you guys will play with just to test your skills on this thing. All right, but let's do like 2 more. To convert 3.9. Okay, who can tell me what 3.9 is? Is it a float, a string, a boolean, or an integer?
You just said it. It's a float.
Good. So 3.9 is a float. Which is a float. Okay. I want to convert it to an integer. All right. To convert 3.9, which is a float, to an integer. So what I just do is that I can just say int. Okay, because I want to convert it to an integer, so I'll just say int 3.9. And then int 3.9. Okay. Let's run the program and see what happens. Okay, sorry, I didn't print it. I didn't put the print command. Sorry. So I can say print int 3.9. Okay, so when I run it, you see that the result will be 3 because it has converted it from an integer, from a float 3.9 to an integer 3. So what this one does is that everything from the decimal point, everything from that point backward to the, it will just wipe them out. It will only keep the number before the decimal. The same thing would have happened if we did something like print int 45.1 or thereabouts. Okay, so if you run the program, it's going to just give you only 45. So that's what is going to happen. Okay, so what it does is that it's going to remove everything from the back of the decimal to wipe out everything, and then it just give us only the number before the decimal. So I want Blessing to tell me this. If I say, what if I say print 0.4567? All right, so what's going to be my result, Blessing?
It's going to be 0.45.
Okay.
No.
No. I even made mistake here.
0.5.
Don't worry. Okay, so what's going to be my result here?
It's going to be 0.45.
Remember that I've casted it into an integer. Remember that I cast it into an integer.
It's gonna be 0.
So I just finished mentioning it now, that when you put int in front of your floats, the work it will do is that anything after the decimal, it will wipe them out. Only the number before the decimal alone will be displaying. For instance, when you say int 3.9, it removed everything from these points, it wiped them out and displayed only 3. When you say integer 45.1, integer 45.1 means that, okay, Mr. Python, I know that 45.1 is a float. I know it is a float, I know it's not an integer, but please convert it to an integer for me and display the result. That's the meaning of print int 45.1. And then what will Python do? Python will just remove everything after this decimal point and keep only the number before the decimal, which is what? 45. Now, blessing. Now I have 0.4567 and I said int 0.4567. So by the time I run this code, by the time I say print integer 0.4567, what is going to be the outcome of this code? This line, 24. So what's going to be the outcome? Blessing? Oh, I think Blessing have gone offline. Network. All right. Who else is going to bring out? Is there any other female? Is there any other female here?
Will be 0.
Okay, Blessing, you are back. Okay, you said what? There is Ruth. Ruth is in the house. Please, we that teach people how to code, they made it important to us. They made it important to us that we must carry females along effectively because we are trying to encourage women in coding. So,
I'm a female.
all right. So you will see that I will be focusing much more on the female people, but it's because they usually have little issues understanding code. So we just have to carry them along effectively. Know that you guys may not have similar issues as such. All right, Ruth Markford, how are you doing today?
Yes, please. I'm fine. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry, I've been focusing on Blessing alone. I just have to check everybody online so that I would know if there's another female too. All right, Ruth, can you
Yes,
tell me
sir.
the answer of the line 24? What is going to come out of it?
0.
Are you sure it is 0?
Yes.
Is 0 last answer?
Yes. Last final answer, sir.
Final answer 0. Correct. So by the time we run the program, let's see, it will remove everything after the decimal. It will keep only the number before the decimal. And that is the reason why we have that 0 there. Correct. Okay. Now, I have just shown you how to convert an integer to how to convert a float to an integer. So let's see how to convert integer to float. So to convert integer to float, let's see. What you're just going to do is, okay, let's say a is equal to 50. All right, and you can say print and then you say b is equal to, I just want to pull some stones. A is equal to 50 and b is equal to int 30. Sorry, a is equal to float. A is equal to float. Float is in small letter, please. Float 30. All right, and I say print b print a plus b. Okay. All right, so what do you think is going to come out of this? First, let me comment this one. Let me just comment it. So first, what is going to be the result of line 29? Can anybody try? Any guy? Kingsley? Kingsley is a professional Python programmer.
So I'll be 30.0.
30.0, right? Very correct.
Yes.
Okay, good. Very correct. Because when you run it, it will convert 30 from an ordinary 30 integer, that is integer whole number 30. It will convert it to a float 30, which is 30.0. Okay? All right. Now, can Olawale Olusheye, can you please tell me what is going to be the outcome of line number 30?
80, sir.
Okay, line number 30.
80.5.
Okay,
80, sir.
80, right? Just ordinary 80.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, 80 may not be correct.
0.0.
Ajo David,
Point zero.
Ajo David came late.
I thought 80.0
80.0 is
I'll be
perfect.
80.0.
Yes,
80.0 will be correct.
yes. By the time you run it, the reason why it is 80.0 is because this 30 has been converted to a float. So it is no longer 30 from this line number 28, it is now acting as 30.0. And that is the reason why when you did print B, you said B is equal to float 30 and you said print B. So print B means print the result of float 30. And float 30 is 30.0 because it converts from integer to float as 30.0. Okay? It converts from 30 as an integer to 30.0 as a float. So because it is now 30.0 plus 0.0, by the time you add it to 50, the result will be 80.0. And that is the reason why we have it this way. I believe that is clear. Is there anybody that is confused about what I just did? All right, Shefam, what's your problem with it? Yeah, Shefam, I'm with you. Shefam, you raised your
Okay,
hand.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Whenever you are converting an integer to a float, is it always zero point 0?
The result will become a decimal because the integer was not carrying anything with it before. So, with
Yes,
Python, we want to make sure that there is something that will be attached to it that we identify it as a decimal, as a
as
float.
a decimal.
So
That's what I'm saying.
that is
Like
the reason
it's
why to
always
put the point zero there. Always, yes.
okay.
Because it was not carrying anything before, so it must carry a decimal. So since there was no value there, you should just put zero there, like point zero.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that is it. We've been able to convert. Okay, now I think the last one. Let's see. You see, you can as well convert a string. You can convert a string to a float or to integer if only the string in concern is a number. If the string in concern is not a number, you cannot convert. Do you understand? If the string is not a number, then you cannot convert. So what I'm trying to say is that to convert a string to int or float, okay, it must be a numeric string. That string must be a numeric string, okay. That is, it means a string that is a number, okay. So let's have an example. If I say okay, let me do it this way. A is equal to string 2. I put a quote around it to convert it to make sure that it's not an ordinary 2, it's a string type of 2. All right. So that if I say B is equal to face, you can easily say, oh sorry. Okay, so you can easily say print A plus B. Who can tell me, Ruth, what is going to be the result of A plus B?
Two-face.
Yeah, it's going to be two-face because they will be the two of them are strings, so they get concatenated, and which means they will join together, and then that will form two-face, as you can see. All right, so that's how it goes. Yeah, Shefam.
Sorry, that spelling for that concatenation of everything. Can you just help us type it at the comment section? Get it. It's that concatenation.
I've just done it now. It means concatenation. Concatenation. If you had read the material that I sent to you, you would have seen it there. The handout that I sent after the last class is there. All right. So we have it that way. Prince A plus B. Okay, now, what if I now say, because 2 is this, and okay, let me do something like C is equal to 5. All right. So what if I say A plus C? Okay. Shefam, A plus C is going to give us what? Please look
7.
very well before you tell me the answer. A plus C is going to give us
So
what?
give us 0.
It will give us what?
2.
Error.
Ah,
I
2 5.
mentioned someone who family C.
A plus. Okay. That here is spring, right?
Yeah, I don't know
Ah,
whether it's green or
2.
check it by yourself
That should
now. She-
that should be
okay.
ah 2 5.
Olego. Olofa. All right.
Wow.
It is not 2 5 because 5 is an integer, and
Come on, work now.
it will not work, right? It will give us an error, just like this. If you run it, it's going to give you
Ah,
error. You're going to see the error there because it is an integer. There is no way you can concatenate an integer with a string. So Shefam, I'm coming back to you. So because of that accident that just happened now, what do you think is going to be the remedy? If I must use A and C, what do you think is going to be the remedy?
single quote.
No,
You
I,
have to put single quotes.
if I put single quotes around C,
So you can turn
then C will no longer be a variable. It becomes a string character itself, which means I'm going to be having, if I run
Oh,
it, I'm going to be having AC, like 2C rather. And 2C is not what I want to achieve because C is carrying something. So the moment I put C inside quotes, then C will no longer behave like a variable. It now begins to behave like a character C. So that would be a blunder. I need the 5 that is inside. So what do I do?
oh yeah, string,
so you can change C
string,
to either string or you can
string
change A to integer.
All right. So which means I'm going to change C from 5
5
to string.
string
So what am I going to do? How am I going to do that?
str
str.
Okay, good. str
then 5 inch bracket
5. I don't
the
want to
5
use
inside
5. I don't want to use 5. I just want to use the variables. All true.
then C. So you
Okay,
put C.
good. So I'll make it like that. So which means that for the two of them to become string, I need to. This one A is already a string. It already came a string, okay. And then 5 is not a string. It's a. That's why the color is orange. Every string will come in green using this interface. Every string comes in green, and every number come in orange, and every variable come in white. Okay, all those keywords come in purple. So now this is 5, okay. So you have to convert it because 5C is equal to 5. So, and I said I want the two of them to contain variables. I don't want to see any physical number there. So any number physically there or explicitly. So I put C, then I just cast it from a numbers from
Continue.
an integer to a string. Then this one will work very fine. Okay, and so you have 25. Okay, so we have the number 2, and we have 5. So this is also concatenation. Now I want to pull another stones. Okay, this time around I want to produce an addition. I want to make a real addition. between 2 and 5. I want to add 2 to 5. So what am I going to do? Real addition. I want the result. You know, the first two I did were concatenation examples. Now I want to do addition examples. So what am I going to do? So anybody,
Yeah.
let me call someone else. Zion, Zion, you're online. So talk to me. Zion, you're online. Talk to me. What do you think I'm going to do there? I want to add 2 to 5 so that the results can be 7. So what am I going to do? Is Zion there? Zion is not there. Okay, Kingsley, I know you know it now. Kingsley, you that you are doing data science. No, no, no. Someone cannot play with you. Don't play with me, Joe. All right. Let me call someone else. Don't worry. If nobody gets it, then I'll call you. I want to call on. Yeah.
I have a question, please.
Ajay David. Kingsley, you have a question.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Hold on first. Okay. Yeah, Dave.
Yes, sir.
So, David, can you talk to me?
Yes.
Okay. So, what do you think I'm going to do? I want to produce 7 using the two variables A and C.
For 7, so you use integer int a plus c.
Okay, good. So I'll say int A, all right,
A
then
plus
plus
c.
C. Okay, that is perfect. So by the time we run it, we are going to have, this guy is whining also. Yeah, correct. So we have 7. Okay, so this one is addition.
Good.
So you got it right. Ajay, you're welcome. Thank you. Now we've been able to produce 7 by changing the A from string into an integer so that it can work very well with the integer 5, which is C, and then it gave us that result. Okay, now I want to do something. Now I want to add the result of 37 and 38 in a single print statement. So, which means I can just pack everything here. All right. So I want to add the result of this one and this one. So just let's see how it works. If it doesn't work, I know why it wouldn't work. But let's see. Everything here, I just pack them plus everything here. So that it can be like 25 plus 7. 25 plus 7, expectedly the result to be 32. So, can this produce 32?
No, sir.
I have to put everything inside the brackets. So, okay, all the things I lifted from here, are the things I kept in the brackets here. Okay, so that the bracket can be separated
That's
from
where
the.
I see.
Okay, sorry, Kingsley is still raising his hand. Can you ask a question now?
Okay, so I'm following. I'm okay.
Okay, you're okay now, right? Okay, good. So everything here, right? What I want to do now is, I know it will not work, and I know why it won't work. But the question is that when I run it and it doesn't work, somebody should explain to me why it did not work. Okay? I know why it won't work. But let somebody tell me why it didn't work. You see that it did not work. All right, so the next task is that can anybody in this class tell me the reason why it wouldn't work? Can anybody tell me why it wouldn't work? Yeah, David. Thank you. Yeah, David, I can see your hands up.
So maybe the reason it wouldn't work is because one of them is a string.
Okay, so which one do you think is a string?
The
The one on the left or the one on the right? Which one do you think is a string? Is it the one on the left or the one on the right? Is it this one? Is it all of this from here to here? Okay? Or all of this from here to here? Because I lifted them. I lifted the one on the left from line 37. I lifted the one on the right from line 38. So which one do you think is a string? You said because one of them is a string. So which one do you think is a string? All right, can anybody else help? Mr. Omo, let me hear from you, please. Oh, Ajay went offline. Mr. Lulu? Okay, yeah, good. All right. My friend, Mr. Sani Moshood. So can I hear from you?
So probably because we are in line 37, we are having concatenation, while in line 38, we are having addition.
No, you know what? Ajay David said something earlier, which I agree to. The reason is that one of them is a string, the other one is an integer. Now, Anna asks, which one is a string and which one is an integer?
The one on the right,
The one on the right that I currently highlight.
yes, that is an integer. While the one on the left is a string.
Okay, you are very correct. So, because the one on the left was produced is a result of concatenation, and it's only strings that can be concatenated. While the one on the right is a result of addition, and it's only integers or numbers that can be added. Do you understand? It's only numbers that can be added. So, which means that this one is a number, this one is is a string, because it's a result of, despite the fact that the two of them are numbers in the output. Oh, you understand? If you see, is this one is 25, which is a number, that one is 7, but that 25 that you are seeing as 25, it's not a real 25. It's not a numeric 25. It's actually a stringed 25. So, because it was produced from concatenation, where A was 2 and string C was 5, and then that is what produced the 25. That is 2, 5. Okay, so 25 as a string, not 25 as a number. So that is the reason why it could not add up to the 7 from the result of the line 38. So what do I now do? I've not released you. You should still be online, Mr. Sunny. So what do I now do to make the two of them add? Which means I want to bring addition out of this. So what do I do?
I think what you need to do is to convert the one on the left, which was done through concatenation.
Okay.
So
So what do I convert it to?
convert it to an integer.
All right, good. So how do I do that?
Honestly, I'm at lost here.
It's just looking too complex, but it is absolutely simple. So you will not mind all this nonsense that you are seeing here. It's making it look too complex. Okay, just look at it as a simple biscuit. Like, okay, fine. Everything here is just one thing, and everything here is just another thing, because you know where they were lifted from. So you will you overview it like one thing, only one object. So the way you will just convert it to integer by putting int in front, and I think the case is settled. So by the time you put int in front of this whole thing on the left, and you leave this one because it's already an integer, okay, on the right, then by the time you run the code, so we are going to have 32, and so that case is settled. You can see that programming is fun, but the thing is that as fun as it is very technical. You need to think. Oh, darling Ruthie. Markford, please, can I hear from you?
Please, I'm lost. This last part, can you help me explain it again, please? Sorry for bringing you guys back.
All right, no problem. Okay, let me explain it all
Thank
over. All right. So you can mute your mic, except if you want to talk. Okay, now this is it. This is how it goes. Remember that we produced. Remember how we produced this one, okay? If you check out the code, come in. Let me just take this up. Okay, if you check out the code properly, you'd notice something. You will see that a is equal to 12. Sorry, a is equal to 2. That is a string 2, not an ordinary 2, but a string 2, because we have put quote around it. So it's no longer an ordinary 2. It's no longer a number, but it's now a string. Okay. All right. Good. So if you see 5 is an ordinary number. That's why the color is different. 5 is an ordinary number. Okay. So as it is, we now we concatenated 2 and 5. Instead of adding 2 and 5, we concatenated them. You know, addition of 2 and 5, normal 2 and normal 5 will be 7. But concatenation of 2 and 5, like this, 2 as a string and 5 as a string, we produce what? Ruth, what would be the result of concatenation of 2 as a string and 5 as a string?
It's 7.
Ruth, what would be the result of concatenation of 2 as a string and 5 as a string? What would be the result?
I didn't get the question.
What would be the result of
Is it for one we've done
concatenating?
before?
What would be the result of concatenating 2 and 5? Like this, 2 is a string and 5 is a string. So when you concatenate the two of them, what is going to be the answer? If 2 is a string and 5 is also a string, what will be the result of the concatenation of the two of them?
25.
25, right? That is 2, 5. Correct. That is exactly what happened here in line 37. In line 37, we already know that A is a string 2, okay? Because it has a quote around it. So it's a string already. It's a string 2. That is for A, okay? Now, we now wanted to concatenate it. We wanted to concatenate it with what? With B. With C. But knowing fully well that C is a string, is an integer, okay? So because we wanted to concatenate it, the only way to achieve that purpose, to achieve that aim, is to make C to become a string. And that is the reason why we cast it, okay? We cast C into a string by putting str in front. And so by the time we put str in front, it becomes a string. So that was the reason why the two of them could concatenate, okay? And then it produced this 2 and 5 that we see here, which is looking like 25. You understand it now? So, but it's as a result of a direct concatenation of 2 and 5, string 2 and string 5. That is string 2, natural string, and string 5, converted string. Do you understand? And that was what produced 25. Okay? Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes,
now,
sir.
So which means the result of line 37 is 25, which is but not a real 25, but a concatenated 25. That is a string 25. That is it. But if you look at line 38, in line 38, we know that A is equal to 2, right? And we know that C is 5, okay?
Yes, sir.
But the 2 that A is a string 2. But Mr. Emmanuel said that you want to produce addition from it, and you know that you can only add 2 numbers. You cannot add a string to a number. You can only add 2 numbers to have an addition result, not a concatenated result, but an addition result. Okay. So what do we now do? What do you think we need to do? What do you think we should do to A so that it can be able to add to C?
We convert A to integer.
Good. So that is what we did here. We converted A to integer by putting int in front of A. So A became an integer. So by the time you add it to C, it will now produce, that's why it produced what? This result, 7, which is 2 plus 5, which is 7. Now, You know what I now did?
Yes, sir.
I now did something. So what I did was that I now lifted everything that is here. This A plus STRC. I lifted everything. I copied it and pasted it here. I now say plus everything on this line 38 too. I listed everything and I pasted it here. And I said, okay, I want to
Okay.
produce addition from the two of them. Now, I want to produce addition from the two of them. I ran it at first, it didn't work. You know why? Because the 25 that was produced by this one was not a real 25. It was a string 25 because it's a result of concatenation. Do you get that? And then this one
Yes, sir.
now produced 7 for us, Abi, which is a number, a numeric
Yes.
7, an integer 7. So when we now wanted to add the string 25 to an integer 7, the program crashed. So the only solution to produce addition from the two of them will not be what? What do you think we'll do?
To change the A to integer.
Not only the A, but the complete everything here.
Okay.
Everything here, from here to here, like this, they are all integer. Why? Because A, which was a string, has been converted to an integer, and C came naturally as an integer, which is 5. So which means everything here is integer. So there is no problem with this side. But the problem with this side is that everything here produced string. Because A came as a string, and C, which was an integer before, was converted to a string. So which means everything in this bracket here, they are strings. So in order to make sure that it turns to integer, you now have to convert everything to integer by putting what? int in front as a whole. So this int will affect everything from the beginning of this bracket to the end of this bracket, to the closure of the bracket. It will affect everything, which means it will change everything there to an integer. That was what we did earlier that you said you didn't understand. So now that it has changed to integer, 25 will now begin to be, the concatenated 25 will now be behaving as an integer 25 because it has been changed to an integer. So by the time you now run it, it will run very well and produce 25 plus 7, which is what? 32. So do you get it now?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Well, I guess we have to call it a day. This is 9:19. Well, though we started late, but we'll continue tomorrow. Okay? I'm going to have...
It's better, Emostel. It's better so that we'll be able to digest this. It gets more complex.
Yes, you go and digest this one. We'll continue tomorrow.